Jason Dussault, and he kind of wants to kneecap you because he really wants your job. You're cool with that, right? You better be.
What you do. We have a great show coming up for you today. A good friend of ours is here.
Jason Dussault, of course, from Dussault Custom Inc. They make amazing rock and roll clothing. Well, guess what? This Sunday night on Gene Simmons Family Jewels, you are going to see Jason Dussault snowboarding with Gene Simmons. Does it sound like a party?
Wow.
I think so.
I want to see Gene Simmons on a
I
snowboard.
know.
That's right.
So Jason's going to tell us how it all went down and about his clothing line, of course, that he has with Gene called Moneybag.
Yeah, now, I call Jason a friend of ours, but really he's a friend of yours, and he wants to hurt me so that he can take my job. That's what he told me.
I believe he said...
Did you see the size of him? His arm is bigger than I am. His beard is bigger than I am.
Mike, I was pointing out the weaknesses that he might be able to do.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. We have someone joining us that scares me a little bit, I'm going to be honest, because
well, Mike, it's only
I thought...
He only wants to kneecap you just so he can sit in and fill in for you for a day, that's all.
He doesn't have to kneecap me, just give me some sweet clothes and it's good to go, man.
Jason Dussault has a clothing line called Moneybags with the one, the only Gene Simmons from Kiss, and of course Gene Simmons has Family Jewels, and Jason and the gang are going to be featured this Sunday night on the program. How are you?
Jason,
I'm very well.
Good.
I'm a little disappointed that you warned him, though. It's going to be a little bit more, difficult.
I should know.
Anytime you want to come in here, you're not allowed.
You're just bigger than him, so you can't. So you have to tell us the story about this little logo and the man from Kiss.
Yeah, so Gene trademarked this logo right here.
Yeah.
The money
Which
bag.
I find unbelievable, by the way.
He has so many trademarks.
Brilliant.
He's so smart. I mean, you know, he's a brilliant guy. So
Yeah.
he trademarked it over 28 years ago, and when we first met at his house, he'd actually just finished his plastic surgery and was wearing, you know, the hat and sunglasses, black eyes, the whole bandaged up, the whole thing. So I made him a leather jacket that he ends up wearing like all the time. In fact, he's going to be on the Smarter Than the Fifth Grader.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And so I had to sign a disclaimer. I have to sign a disclaimer
logo.
for the logo because he just loves this leather jacket so much.
Wear it, yeah.
So, which is great for me. So anyway, I made him this great leather jacket, and it had an embroidered demon in the back, which said the name. And he said, "Look, I got this logo, and I haven't done a high-end clothing line with it. What do you think?" And to be honest, I looked at it, and the initial feeling was, well, this is sort of hip-hop. It's not really, you know, I don't know how I feel about this. I want to do business with Gene Simmons, so I'm going to do it no matter what, but I got to figure out a way to make it cool.
You have to give us a little bit of the backstory, because Gene Simmons, when you were growing up, Jason, one of your hugest
It's
heroes.
huge. I mean, I could do his makeup for him, no problem, probably better than he could. I mean, I dressed up like not only in air bands, but I, like, literally, if you went through my school books, you would see the makeup of the demon, right? It was just...
How did you end up meeting up with him anyway? How did that connection happen?
It's actually a great connection, really great connection, that revolves a little around, starts off in snowboarding. I was up in Whistler snowboarding, went to the Quattro's for dinner after, and got along great with this waiter. His name's Jeremy. Great guy. And we became friends, and we talked about boarding, and we ended up getting together and snowboarding together. He was a great boarder. We went wakeboarding in the summer, became a really good friend of mine. And when I started the clothing line, he was good friends with Swollen members, Prevail.
Of course, yeah.
And so he said, look, I can get your clothes on Prev. So I made Prev a hoodie, and then I met Prev, and Prev and I became great friends, and Prev and I were in New York together. And after one of his shows, we were having, you know, late night dinner and drinks or something. And Todd McFarlane's name came up, and I'm a huge fan of Todd McFarlane from Spawn,
and
Spawn,
everything,
and a big toy empire, and you know, was probably one of the most successful artists to ever come out of Canada, and this was someone I idolized. So when he said that he knew Todd McFarlane, because Todd had won the award for doing the Nelly Furtado video for them, and also did their album artwork. I know, and so I have to meet him. You know, what can we do? So I made him a hoodie, and we flew down to Phoenix, and we met, and we got along great. We had like a 2.5-hour meeting,
Todd McFarlane,
Todd and I, and we just like hit it off, and we got along so well. And Todd was really impressed with my entrepreneurialism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we just sort of hit it off, and it was cool because he was doing the Lost toys at that point,
Yeah.
and so calls were coming in from the people from Lost, and we're sitting in his boardroom. He's got no socks on, no shoes, which is how he operates. He doesn't wear socks or shoes.
Well, you got to be able to feel things.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
we got it.
Yeah.
We got it.
It's saying the producer of Lost is on the line. He's like, no, take a message, whatever. And so this was a pretty cool thing for me that I'm sitting here with my idol.
Yeah.
And so anyway, then he introduced me to Gene Simmons because he
once
did the
again,
Kiss dolls.
You guys
like Kiss
totally
toys.
hit it off.
Yeah, and Gene and I.
Serendipity, huh?
Yeah, it's amazing, and it all started from a restaurant in Whistler
And
Isn't that
Yeah.
true?
because this
yeah.
all comes full circle, this is going to bring us back to Whistler because
Yes.
Gene Simmons does the Family Jewels, of course, the program, and you took Gene Simmons snowboarding.
Yeah, well,
You guys-
actually, he didn't-
there
he
was a
didn't go
purpose to
snowboarding.
the snowboarding,
Yeah.
but to go up to Whistler.
Yeah, no, he called me up, actually. Michelle and I were having dinner. I got a phone call from Gene, and he said, "Had you ever thought about getting into the snowboard market? It's a huge market. I'm shopping with my daughter, Sophie, and these numbers are amazing. I mean, should we get into this?" And the Tellus Ski and Snowboard Festival was coming up, and I said, "Well, if you want to come up, why don't you come up? We'll go to the festival. I can hook us up at, we're going to be in the fashion show, so come to the fashion show. I can, do up some designs. We'll take a look. We'll meet some people." And that's what we did. So we spent an entire week up in Whistler.
And all of a sudden it became an episode.
Yeah, it was a
of
great
Family
episode.
Jewels. He brings the cameras. and
Yeah,
everything.
I can't wait. I think the episode, I'm really excited
Well,
about
we have a
Gene-
sneak peek at some of the pictures. Let's have a
Yeah.
look of you guys on the hill here.
And you guys were looking for someone to sort of represent the brand
Well,
when you were out there. a little
Gene
bit.
is, as everybody knows, all about business. He's a very smart businessman, and he markets indie. And part of marketing indie was to build a celebrity out of indie. And I'm not sure if you guys remember Dancing from the Stars last year, but the winner was Helio Castroneves,
Yeah.
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So think of all the fans now that are fans of Helio that were never fans of racing.
Right.
So if you can take that one person and build around
I
that
see
one
the
person,
entrepreneur in you
can
all
bring
the
it, right?
time,
For sure.
everything, yeah.
And that's something I learned from Gene. So I mean,
Yeah.
Gene, took Helio, made him, a star because you don't
Outside of his
outside of
industry.
it because the last thing you want to do is really market to the fans of the sport because that's not who you want. The idea is that you want the people who aren't
Bring 'em
fans
in.
and bring them in.
So this is what you guys are
this is
thinking
the
going
idea.
out there.
The idea is to go out, find that superstar kid, and have him wear the product.
Okay. Let's have a look at the pictures. As we mentioned, this was part of Family Jewels. That means lots of cameramen, lots of crew.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 2 cameramen, 2 sound
Is
men.
that Gene on his knees there?
That's not Gene, no. We were actually...
That man goes on his knees for no one.
That's Adam Freeman. He's an executive producer of the
Okay.
show. Really, really great guy. Yeah. And this was someone that we happened along. We were actually going up with a snowboarder to a jump, and this guy came along, and he
Guy in
had
the
a
white.
sled here. And we were walking on the road, and there's a cliff above us and a cliff below, and he came flying over top. It was like 130-foot drop. Never seen anything like it before, so we hooked the camera
On
up
his-
to him. Yeah, we hooked the camera up to him, and he did it again, and so we got the footage of the whole thing.
So people can see that on
Crazy.
Sunday Night Show.
Yeah. Oh, the stuff you're going to see is just amazing.
Really?
I venture to say it's going to be his best show to date.
Like the cast of characters in it, the people
The
that you
cast
meet?
of characters, but also this sort of stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
this again is an interesting shot of a snowboarder wearing a Moneybag hoodie, flying over, and you can't really get a perspective for how big this jump is. I'm sure you will
That's
in the
huge.
film, but it's huge. And that's Gene there, and myself, and Tony from New York, which is another business associate of his that he brought up.
Just
to sort of
Tony
assess
from
it.
New York.
That's all you need
Tony
to
from
say.
New
That's
York.
just Tony from New York.
Tony!
I
We have
was
to
working on my
really
accent.
quickly talk about this,
Yeah.
which is a new product that you guys have come
Yeah,
up
this
with.
was really cool. So I'm noticing that a lot of the snowboarders are...
Here, I'll demo it for you people.
Thank you. Are using bandanas to put around their face to cover their face from the snow, but also when it drops down to cover your neck.
Yeah.
But they're using
'Cause it
really
looks
cheap
cool.
cotton ones. Well, it looks cool, but it also protects your face. But the cheap cotton ones, when they get cold from your breath, they sort of harden up, and then they're useless, and they
Yeah.
just get cold and don't do their job. And then with just the regular neck warmers, you look like a geek. So I went out and found a really good technical silk, and we screened the money bags on it, and the whole bandit money bag thing. I really think this is going to be big. I'm super excited about
And
it.
the technical silk, I know people can't touch this at home, but it feels amazing.
Soft, yeah.
It's
and
beautiful.
they're all double-sided too, so you can get, if you want to be
You can
have
get
the
your rock
gold
and
on
roll
one
on.
side, or you got your silver sort of on the other side, and then you
Nice.
can get your matching hat. And this is really funny. I don't get why this is cool, but this is the sort of beanie I would wear.
But this is the sort of beanie the kids are
Here.
wearing.
Yeah.
Would you like me to
Like-
model this one?
Yes,
I don't
please.
get that.
This is
right?
because
Like-
I am hip.
And you know what?
like
While
that's
we do
supposed
that,
to be the look, right?
I'm going to tell you that you can watch the entire episode of Gene Simmons Family Jewels with Jason and the gang from Dussault. You can go to DussaultApparel.com to find out all the information. You can enter to win a special money bag toque at Urban Rush at Shaw.ca, and you can look as cool as us, yo.
Wish
Yo,
I
yo.
were in Pemberton
Where can
right
people
now.
buy this stuff?
They can't yet.
They can't.
No, but it will be available
Suckers.
online, and we've got an exclusive arrangement with the Bay, and we're
Cool.
on the snowboard stuff. We're talking to a couple of large.
Excellent. Go to the
groups
Dussault
Nice.
website to find out all the information. We're going to take a break. When we return, we're going to keep it on the fashion world with Tracy from In the Pink right after this.
I'm going to wear this throughout that whole
Seems like a great idea.